So he calls me up. He's like, you're just getting distracted with this whole film school thing. So I went ahead and submitted your application to medical school, and I just need these documents. So you need to run to your high school and grab these documents and send them over to me.
So it wasn't really like...
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna do it.
Hi guys, we're back at Untitled Success, where we talk to local business owners. Today with me is Ali with Real Initiative. This is going to be a fun interview. It's one that I've had and I've been looking forward to. This man decided to do something that, like any foreign parent, would just kick him off a cliff for it. So we'll kind of go through it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Hey Ali.
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Good to be here.
It's good to be here,
dude. I love seeing you, man. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get there, but we actually have long history. So
yeah. So he did a lot of my wedding photography. He did all my wedding photography, from engagement to marriage, and it was epic. I think this was like your first Egyptian wedding, right?
Yes, absolutely. I had experience prior working with another company, but on my portfolio, it was the first.
It was the first?
Yeah.
I'm glad to be the first, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. So my very first question that I ask everyone is, who were you in high school?
Who am I in high school? An absolute introvert. Oh my God, my personality has changed quite some. But yeah, absolute introvert, quiet to myself. Following the, I guess, career-wise, or my long-term goal, following the footsteps of my mom.
Your mom?
Yeah, she's a doctor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's how that started.
Okay.
Kind of looked up to her. I was always into like science, earth science, biology, chemistry, and all that. I was into that. Mm-hmm. But my mom was a full-fledged practicing doctor, and I decided, okay, why not, follow in her footsteps. Mm-hmm. And then I think it was in 10th or 11th grade. I came across cameras. My dad bought actually no, this is before high school.
Before high school?
Let's backtrack, yeah. This is in elementary school. My dad bought a Panasonic camcorder.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember this. It was the ones that were not held like this, they were held like this. And it had a screen, and you could kind of pivot the lens like back and forth, but it's a camcorder. Anyways, 8mm, I think.
Was it big or kind of like?
Like this big.
Okay.
Yeah, tiny. But it was the first of its kind, and I was drawn to it. So I did the home videos. He finally trusted me to hold it, and I made the home videos for my little brothers. We're a total of 5 brothers.
Wait, 5 brothers?
Yeah.
5 of you guys?
Yeah.
No sister?
My mom attempted for a daughter, but it was one boy after another.
Bro, I would have stopped after 3. Having 5 boys in a household.
There were supposed to be 6, actually.
Really?
But yeah, the last one didn't make it. But it was a boy, another boy. So
another boy?
Yeah, it was been 6 boys.
Dude,
nuts,
we're 2 boys, like me and my brother.
Yeah.
And we drove my mom crazy, so I can't imagine.
Dude, testosterone house, man.
Okay.
But anyways, going back to the discovery of the camera, I started making home videos, and then going into high school. I was still in love with cameras, and in 11th grade, 10 or 11th grade, I can't remember, I started the first video production club, and did my little short film, made a short film. It was called Life of a Pencil.
Life of a Pencil?
Yes. Basically what a pencil goes through, from purchasing it to, the different situations it goes in. High school, pencils are, the most common, I don't know now, but back then, pencils were the main tool to write. But anyways, I started my the video production club, and then afterwards, I even approached my dad to apply to film school. But then, we had that talk where, obviously, being Asian, it's kind of frowned upon going into a career that's more artistic or creative.
Well, see, that's what I wanted to ask you, right?
Yeah.
So the audience doesn't know yet, right?
Yes.
What you do, and I wanted to save it a little bit, but the cat's out of the bag, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're a photographer, you started your own company, and you do primarily wedding videos and photos and videography.
Yes.
Right. The question that I had is, like, how does that conversation look like with your parents? Because, like, we're also, like, I'm Middle Eastern, and if I told my parents that, hey, like, I don't want to be, one, you only have 3 options, right? Engineer, doctor, lawyer.
Exactly.
Outside of those, like, it's a fight.
Yes.
So your dad is also responsible for you getting into photography.
Exactly.
Right? So how did that conversation...
Came way later, but in high school, I told my dad I'm going to apply for film school and I want to give it a shot. So he was like, he sat me down and he wasn't mad or anything, but he sat me down and he explained, he's like, what are the chances of you becoming a sort of successful director? He's like, look how much competition there is out there. Be realistic. What are the chances? Do you want to go to film school and rack up that tuition, that debt? And what if you don't make it? Then you're stuck. And at that time I was like, shit, man, I'm scared. I can't, I don't want to not make it. And why don't I just take the safe route and maybe later on I could think about it as a hobby. He's like, yeah, you're welcome to keep it as a hobby, but how are you going to be financially stable? Because obviously at that time they already knew I was interested in science and becoming a doctor, right?
Yeah.
So my dad's like, why are you getting distracted?
I think it's also tough for them, from my experience as well, is that they also feel that they came here to give you a better life.
Exactly.
And so anything outside of, like a career-driven...
Financially stable.
Exactly. They're like, hey, I didn't come here so you can mess around.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
they only know what they know.
Yeah.
And that is the only information that they can relay over to you to help you succeed in life, What do they want? They want you to be financially stable, financially self-sufficient, and, finally be able to see you succeed, have a proper family, the whole life cycle, basically,
So he scared the shit out of you.
Yeah, and it worked. And it worked. It worked. So I was like, okay, Dad, you have a point. And then at this time, backstory, my dad had flew to Pakistan. I should say Pakistan. Yeah. But he flew to Pakistan because his dad got sick.
Okay.
And while I think he was about to pass too, so it was like the farewell. But anyways, he was there, and then I don't know how he got the idea, but he's like, my son's distracted right now with the whole idea of film school, so I guess someone gave him the idea or something, but in Pakistan, if you go to medical school, you can skip all of undergrad. So straight from high school, you can go directly to medical school. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep. So he calls me up. He's like, I submitted your application to a medical school in Karachi, and you have chances of getting in because you had good grades in high school. So, you could...
Wait, I'm baffled.
And he didn't even tell me. He told me, I submitted your application.
So...
Yeah.
Okay.
So he calls me up. He's like, you're just getting distracted with this whole film school thing. So I went ahead and submitted your application to medical school. And I just need these documents. So you need to run to your high school and grab these documents and send them over to me.
So it wasn't really like...
Yeah, he's like, you're going to do it.
You're doing this.
You're doing this. Yeah.
So like, hey, kind of nicely...
Yeah.
It would be nice.
I was like, okay, you know what? I guess I want to do medical school, and it's smarter of me to do it, so let's give it a shot.
I think the one thing that like any high school kid would feel is that, hey, I'm going to lose my friends and I'm going to move to a country.
Luckily, I was that introvert.
So, you just kept to yourself anyways.
I kept to myself, honestly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that happened. He applied. I got in. I flew to Pakistan. Literally, I think a week after he told me, dude. Week and a half. I flew there. I did my med school interview. Yeah, went to campus, and I was in.
So you did all of your med school in Pakistan,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you're done, and you come back here?
Yes.
And so you're applying to be a doctor here?
Yeah, so I'm studying for my USMLE, the United States Medical Licensing Exam.
Okay.
Studying for that, and also got married.
Oh, during this
whole thing.
Did you meet your wife here or
during medical school? I met her in med school.
Oh, okay.
So she's also a doctor.
Okay.
But she's not practicing either.
Yo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
She's running her own cosmetics brand.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys...
Yeah, we're both running our own.
Yeah, so
shows,
you guys basically
Yeah, dude.
I can't imagine the conversations that you guys must have,
Dude,
right?
we think about it now. It's like, what the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in you finished medical school. You're taking your exam here. You're still like pursuing to be a doctor.
Oh, absolutely.
And is this a general doctor or?
Yeah. So initially, you study for USMLE. You study for the basic exam to. Oh yeah, actually, yeah. You clear the exams and then you apply for residency of what you're interested in.
Gotcha.
So I was just gonna go do internal medicine.
Internal medicine.
Yeah.
And so your wife is also doing the same thing.
Same thing, exactly. So we're both studying.
Okay.
In my parents' house. The whole idea of a joint family system. You know what that is, right?
No.
Is in Asian culture. It's basically when the entire family, like I got married, I brought my wife over here, and then we're living at my parents' house. My parents' house was big. It's a big house, so we were all living together. It was no issues. But then at the same time, I started vlogging. I had a YouTube channel, making little videos with my brothers.
What made you start a YouTube channel?
Oh, just
Because you're knees deep in studying.
In studying, yeah. Just to get away, man. Just because it's insight. You know that little voice in your heart, kind of like pushing you to do things that you're passionate about. I listened to that, and it was knocking so hard at my door. You know, like I ended up buying a camera, coming back. And I didn't buy one actually. My brothers gifted me a camera, so I started making little videos with my brothers, having little fun little vlogs. And in fact, started a YouTube channel, did all that, and started getting some traction, followers and whatnot. But that wasn't the tipping point to jump ship from studying for my exams. So I'm studying. I managed to clear my first step.
Okay.
It was a total of I think there's 2 steps before you can apply for residency. So I was studying for my second step, and my brother had the idea of he's like, Ali, why don't you apply to a company in California and see how it goes. It was a photo video company.
Wait, are your parents not in California?
I'm from Ohio.
You're from Ohio?
I moved from Ohio to pursue this.
Bro, this keeps getting crazier.
Yeah, we're not from here. I'm a Midwest
So
guy.
your parents are still in Ohio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're,
So your brother had the bright idea for you to apply to
Yeah, because
California.
obviously I made videos and I was like, I want to get into this. So he saw that, and we were visiting. My cousins live here, so we go back and forth. So while we were here, my brother had the idea, why don't you apply for a job over there? And at this time, my dad was like, why the fuck not? Just go for it. Try it out. You know? Because...
But hold on, let me get this clear
Yeah.
though. So he said, why not just apply for videography?
just give it a shot.
Just give it a shot.
Yeah.
Are you in debt from med school?
No, my parents took care of it.
Okay.
My
All
dad.
right.
Because it's cheaper. It's significantly cheaper going overseas because
Sure.
the currency exchange, obviously, it helped me a lot.
Okay, that does help a
Yeah,
lot because
that-
if you're
that
like
helps.
300 grand deep.
Yeah, no, it wasn't definitely. It wasn't. It was what was it, like 15, 20 G's a year?
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So
like-
your dad, would you say that your dad had the buy-in of like, give it a shot, get it out of your system, and then that way we can move on with our lives?
So this point came where my dad was like, give it a shot. But he sat me down.
Okay.
He was like, he has it was like a challenge. Like, he's like, residency is what, 3 years? Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you 2 years. You got to prove it to me that you can do it. Because obviously I'm living in Ohio. I don't have anything in California. So I'll be, jumping ship, trying something out with whatever money I have in my pocket.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So he was like, you have two years, prove it to me that you can make it in this field. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's try it.
Wow.
Got it. And I'm just so thankful that my wife had my back because, dude, a married couple, jumping ship.
So that's the other part that like I kind of want to touch on briefly is you're married.
Yeah.
He says go. You say okay.
Yeah.
How did you get your wife's, or did you get your wife's buy-in?
So, going back to med school, we met in med school, and every year I made a video for every graduating class before me. that was shown on screen. So she knew my passion about videography.
Okay.
So she kind of stood with that, you know what I mean? And then finally it came that tipping point where, you know, it's go time. Mm-hmm. My wife was like, you know what? Why not?
Okay.
Try it out.
So you're in California by yourself, just your wife.
Yeah. Well, luckily my cousins are here, so I stayed at their house for about a couple months.
Okay.
Before, because I don't want to be a burden on anybody. Mm-hmm. I've never been like that. So I hustled. I joined that one company initially, worked with them about a couple years. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't realize what kind of pay I was getting into moving to California. So the hustle was hard, dude. Thinking back on it now, yeah.
So you're with this company?
Yeah.
How long are you with this? Are you moving from company to company before you start your own company?
It was just that one.
Or was just that one?
One company.
So because you have a lot of springboards here, bro.
Yeah.
Like you have your springboard of going into med school.
Yeah.
Living in Ohio, coming to California,
yes.
Working your first job,
yep.
And then now you're like, hey, I'm going to go start my own company.
Yeah, so what happened was working with that company, in the back of my head, I was like, okay, dude, you have a medical degree. You could be full-fledged practicing medicine right now and earning this much.
Yeah.
You're down here. Mm-hmm. You got to do something. You're married. You want to start a family. You know, all this stuff is like going through my head. So I approached my boss and I'm like, you know, I kind of want to speed things along because at that time, by the time it was like I'm debating on starting my own brand, I'm like, why not just kind of see what my boss can do for me and stay with the company. So I asked him, and I was already the lead editor. I was already the lead videographer at that company. So I was kind of pushing for more. So as a business owner, I understand now my boss's position. Mm-hmm. He can only do so much for an employee, you know? And obviously seeing that, I made the decision to jump ship from that company and start my own.
This just keeps getting wilder. Like, you're married, you're making probably not even 100,000 yet.
Oh, okay, far from that.
Far from that. And you're like, not only am I not making that much, and I have a wife.
Yeah.
And I have a place to stay at.
Yeah, like, living in Southern California.
Living in Southern California.
Places, dude.
And then you're like, hey, I'm going to start my own company.
Yeah.
So take me through that first process of like starting your own company.
Oh, it was scary as shit, bro.
Like, how did you find your initial client? Because that's the difficult part. And why did you choose the space of like event planning and weddings?
I was already in it.
Okay.
You know, and it kind of gave me a platform to be creative, mm-hmm. right? And it paid the bills. And so starting my own company, I could venture out even further and try different styles and whatnot and kind of grow from there. So I had a portfolio of weddings I've shot. So I showcased that. Luckily, a DJ actually, a good friend of mine, he mm-hmm. became a friend in the Pakistani Indian wedding industry. He recommended me to a client. Mm-hmm. And that was my first stepping stone, so to speak, to dive into the wedding industry with my own brand. And from that first client, it was just like a wildfire. And
really?
Yeah. And everybody kind of word of mouth. You know,
how'd you come up with the company name?
Sitting on a toilet.
Oh, yeah. That's the best thoughts, right?
I swear. I was sitting and I was thinking, I was like, what's a cool name to come up with?
Okay.
And now that you ask, man, I just remember like, it just can't, I don't know. I wanted to, because this was before Reels, before Instagram.
Yeah,
Reels.
I'm pretty sure Instagram owes you some money.
Right, exactly.
Right.
For real.
So how did you come up with the word REEL?
Yeah.
Real, and then initiative.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. It just came. It just came to my head. I wanted something that had kind of a little bit of a play on words.
Okay.
Plus a little bit of an impact, you know?
Okay.
And that's the first thing that came to my head, and it sounded, and I kept saying it to myself. Mm-hmm. And it sounded nice. And I was like, oh, this is it. And I run out of my bathroom like, it's going to be called Real Initiative. We're calling us Real Initiative to my wife. Uh-huh. And I got excited over that. And I just said, with, you know, the blessings of God, you know, get this thing started and let's go. Let's see how it goes. What's the worst case scenario? I get to move back to Ohio, right? Back to my parents' house.
Yeah.
But thankfully.
Yeah. I guess if you look at it that way, the risk to reward.
Yeah.
If you were if you're groveling, at the end of the day, you can always go back to Ohio.
Yeah.
And then figure out what your game plan is and then take
Yeah.
it from there.
And I'd rather not live out the rest of my life knowing that I didn't try. You know, that's worse.
So being in the event space and the wedding space, you have to be a good storyteller. And you just told me you're an introvert.
Yes.
How were you able to
Become that extrovert?
Yeah, become that extrovert?
Medical school.
Medical school?
Yeah.
That doesn't really answer my question because you should be more of an introvert in medical school.
I know, but it pushed me. Obviously, that patient-doctor was it interaction? That's what pushed me to kind of get out of my comfort zone and get to know. You know, you have to take their history. You have to kind of get that information out of them, out of the patient, so that they can tell you, so that you can diagnose them. So same thing, being in a wedding, you have to interact with that client, and you only have that limited time to gather that information from them, literally extracting that emotion, that love between the couple.
Yeah.
So within that limited time, I managed to get that, I guess, that connection from medical school.
Okay.
That extrovertness, the being able to be outgoing and talkative and being able to connect with the client within that limited time. Because obviously the interaction between a doctor and a patient is so limited.
Yeah.
So
you have that side of the story. The other side of the story now is, how are you able to get people to entrust you that their film is going to come out good and all these things? Because you're competing in a space where there are people
Absolutely.
that are more experienced than you.
Yeah.
Right?
Scariest thing.
Yeah. And so how did you get them to entrust you with your storytelling?
Oh, that's great. I mean, the easy answer is my portfolio. The first thing that they come across watching my films is each film is different. And that variation and that style of editing kind of caught their attention. And then they had that conversation with me. And then I kind of walked them through it on how I will be at their engagement session, how I will be at their wedding day, what they're going to expect, what I should expect from them. So breaking that ice helps them kind of open up a little bit in front of the camera as well. So it makes it easier for them. Because it's not easy being in front of the camera 8 to 10 hours on the wedding day, you know?
Yeah.
Along with the pressures of your different vendors and different guests and different family members, you know? So it's a lot.
I will say, you and I, we had a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, you had a blast.
Yeah, like it was so natural.
You gave me your 200%.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were very comfortable, and I love that.
And then people,
both you and your wife.
Yeah, people were a bit jealous, because when you gave me my film,
Yeah.
it was like 26 minutes,
Oh yes.
and then they were like, "Fam, who's giving you 26 minutes?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Wait, that's not normal?"
No.
And they're like, "No, that's not normal."
No.
I'm like, "Yeah, this is 26 minutes of my film, like
Yeah.
from A to Z."
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I actually back then, I was starting out. I was trying to put as much content out there as possible to grab that clientele and get their attention. You know, that I'm offering something different. So. And you guys threw so much emotion at me. Your event was filled with emotions, man. Happiness, energy, laughing, the serious, intimate portions, you know, everything. So I jammed everything into there.
It was funny because I felt like for our wedding, like everything kind of meshed pretty well together. Like you captured all the right moments. You were able to work very well with the coordinator. Like you guys, it was so seamless.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun from my part.
Blast. Yeah.
And it was like, I really enjoyed like the laughter that we had too.
Yes.
Like we were joking around most of the time.
Oh yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah, that little banter behind the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hilarious. Yep.
So it was a lot of fun.
It makes a comfortable atmosphere, man. It really breaks up the whole awkwardness being in front of a camera.
Oh yeah.
So.
100%.
Yeah.
As you're going through this process, were there any doubts?
Oh man. Yes, but I had no time. I had no time to think about those doubts.
So like, okay, so you're starting off, you're going through your motion, you have your portfolio, you're building clients.
Yes.
Was there any like falling point where you're like, hey,
when the inquiries, when the leads start to taper off, the slow times, then I had to like kind of study the environment, the wedding environment, how South Asian weddings, what's the pattern? When does it get busy? When does it slow down? All this was new to me. So once I got to know that. And then I connected with coordinators. I did styled shoots. I did all I could. But one thing I did not have time for was being a negative Nancy, thinking about, oh, this is not going to work out. I don't have time for that. You're living in Southern California, trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Dude, we got no time, man.
Yeah.
To think of failure. Absolutely not.
Okay, so you're going through this motion, right? Is it just you doing the photography at the time, or did you hire any employees?
Luckily, working at my other job, I had a network of photographers. Got to experience working with them. They've taught me a lot. I've learned a lot from my colleagues that throughout the years. So through them, I met other people. So that kind of helped me reach out. And I reached out to them, and they were willing to help me out.
So you would have them like on a consultant basis?
Yeah, exactly.
So
per project basis.
Per project. Yeah. You were just like, hey, this is what I have.
Yes.
So that's kind of scary because you don't know how they operate versus the way you want to operate.
Luckily, I did see their portfolio.
Oh, okay.
And I had them send me more work.
Okay.
And our vibes matched. Because the main thing is not only the work, it's also how they are with the clientele as well. Mm-hmm. How do they click with them? Are they able to bring out that natural expression? Or are they a little bit more awkward and, rigid? Yeah,
There was a moment in our wedding where one of your photographers, one of my groomsmen was dancing with someone.
Yeah.
And they were doing salsa, right?
Yes.
I don't know if you remember.
I remember that.
And so he's doing salsa, and he's like, "You're doing it wrong.
Yes.
This is how you." So he's like, "Hold my camera,"
and
he spun her around and tilted her.
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
And he was like, "This is how you do it."
Yes.
And I was like, "Yo, this is so funny."
Honestly, you bring that up. I can give a good chunk of the credit of the extrovertness to him.
To him?
He brought it out of me. He brought it out of me.
So was he a consultant as well?
Yes.
So currently now, do you have employees that work for you? Or are you still doing on a consultant?
I'm still doing that, but they're my main guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're my go-tos always.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So businesses have its up and downs, right?
Yes.
Can you tell me a time where you had it down?
Oh, dude. One thing I've learned is how to save money, how to manage money during these slow times. So luckily, this is where stinginess comes in handy. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that helped me through the slow times. Initially, obviously, my brand awareness wasn't out there. Very few people knew, and so luckily, I managed to save money on the side and kind of get through those slow times. Mm-hmm. No, actually, there's times of credit card debt too, so I had to live off of credit cards as well.
Would you say if we go through your seasons, would it be like, for example, January, February, March, April, May? Let's say, for example, you're making $50,000 a month, right? And then all of a sudden, or even through the summer, and then there's a few months where it's zero. Yeah. Is that the way
zero.
It's just tapering off?
Yes.
So it's like it's picking up and then tapering off.
Yes. Exactly. Okay. You'll have really high summer. I would say spring, May to August is like your peak. It starts up a little slow, but it peaks. Actually, no, it goes pretty fast.
Okay.
I'd say.
Yeah.
So and then January, February, March, April-ish, it's kind of like scattered. Just a few weddings a month, and but you made so much through the summer season that if you manage your finances properly, you're able to carry over the entire year. Okay. Pretty well.
Have you,
with balance,
through your years, have you had like a bad shoot, like?
A bad shoot? Like a bad wet?
It didn't go as planned and...
Where's the wood? Is wood?
Yeah.
No, wood? No.
No?
Yeah.
So every time you're able to extract those emotions and kind of figure out... Because not everyone is like, for example, like me and Olivia.
Oh, no, exactly.
Right? Like some people are very, very hard to deal with.
Yeah. So luckily I haven't had any divas.
Really?
Yeah.
No shot.
I swear. I don't think I've had any divas, man. Because when I have a bride or a groom that's a little extra, I kind of taper myself down. I let them take the lead.
Okay.
Yeah. And then whatever vibes they're throwing at me, I work off of that.
Okay.
You throw in a few compliments in here and there, kind of boost them up.
Okay.
And then they start giving you more. There's a lot of psychology in this too, man.
Yeah.
And just knowing how the person's mind works and what they're going to give you, and you kind of bounce back to that. Otherwise, if you're this rigid photographer or videographer, and you just want to do the things that you want to do, you're going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah, but like sometimes, so there are photography studios that, obviously I'm not gonna name any names,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But they operate one way.
Yes.
And they're like, hey, you're paying me a lot of money because
Yeah.
I'm doing it this way.
Yes.
If you want any other way,
There's the door.
there's the door.
Exactly.
Like, I don't get paid enough to deal with you.
That's not in my personality, dude.
Yeah, it really isn't.
Yeah, you have to be, that has to be, I think, pretty, you have to be built that way, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of brands that do that style, and good for them if it's working for them, but you'll know at the consult, the initial meeting with that photographer, you'll know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
So if that's your thing, then by all means, go for it.
I'm not gonna lie, when we first met you, I was like a little worried because you were telling me you dropped out of or you didn't go to med school,
Yeah.
or left med school.
Yeah.
Right. And Olivia's like, wait, this man left med school. Like,
Is he serious?
is he serious? Right? Is he serious?
It was-
Right? Fortunately, like, we got to work with each other, and she was beyond happy. Beyond happy. And it was
Awesome.
like, I look back at the photos, like, I was kind of like looking back at the time, all right, this is like, these are the points I kind of wanted to talk about. And I'm like, wait, I still get excited when I watch these videos, and I still get excited when I see these things.
That's what you just said. I want to have the films be timeless. That's the key word, is being timeless, so that when you rewatch it,
Yeah.
you have those feelings come back out,
Yeah.
what you felt on the wedding day.
It's not only that, it's like the experience that I had with you too.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
fun. So I'm like not only thinking of how great the experience was, but I was like, oh man, the bantering
Interaction.
back and
Exactly,
forth, that
the
was funny, and
interaction.
like,
yeah, between you and I, and then hearing the jokes with your boys.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
all right, so you're going through the motions, you're building a brand. At this point, like, your brand is pretty successful.
Yeah.
And would you say that you're starting to make more than what a doctor would?
So yeah, there was a point where I got to hear my own name through other companies when they, oh, you're the owner of Real Initiative. Oh, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
We're at that point now. So that was a really, I guess, like a fulfilling moment. I felt good, but yeah, like you were saying, doctor salary. Yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So one thing I have to ask you now that you're going through this, your schedule's pretty busy.
Yes.
You have a 5-year-old.
Yes.
How do you manage your time?
Pick and choose your battles, man.
Like, are there times where you're just saying, like, I can't do a shoot this day
Yes.
because I'm with my son?
Yeah. So I have to pick and choose how many weddings I take on.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have to either say, I'm not available, I can send my team, but I won't be there. Or, so just balancing. It's all up to you. As a business owner, you are in charge of your own time. And once you lose that time, it doesn't come back. You got to constantly remind yourself. So money's not everything,
Yeah.
You have to balance that time out with family.
You said something that I kind of want to just dig a little bit deeper in. You said, I'll send my team, but I won't be there.
Yeah.
That's very difficult because sometimes,
Took a while to get to that point.
yeah, because I'm like, I'm dealing with you.
Yeah.
I need you there,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
So,
So if that happens, then we're not available then. Yeah.
okay.
In fact, I've had a couple, I wasn't available on a particular date. Then they switched their wedding date.
For you.
For me,
That's
that was
crazy.
another point in my life where I'm like, damn, that really touched. Yeah, that was really touching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, everything's looking up and up, man.
Yeah.
Like-
Thanks. Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can only thank God because like the way the timeline went, I look back and I'm like, there's no other way that doors could open up without His blessings.
Okay.
Without a doubt. I'm pretty religious. Like
So I
believe
kind of
that.
want to touch on that. Like, how much has faith played in your career? Like,
I
from,
want to say 1,000%, bro.
would you say, because I don't
And
know.
balanced with hard work, like actual dedication, blood
Yeah.
and sweat. You show God blood and sweat, dude, that you're devoted to this thing, I feel like doors open. That's my own experience.
As I'm growing up and I'm going through my motions, and
Yeah.
hopefully one day I start my own business and so forth, faith plays a big part.
Yeah.
But when you have a kid, faith plays a little bit different.
Yeah.
You're a little bit more tuned in, I would say, than before.
Obviously, because of my son's situation, we definitely started questioning religion as well.
Really?
So we've had that moments where like, why is this happening to us?
Okay.
But at the same time, there's different tests and tribulations that every person has to endure, and I just take it as it is, you know, and it's just another hurdle to go over. And, you know, if you know, God permits, another door will open. That's going to be amazing for him, and he will succeed in his own path as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What career advice would you give someone who wants to leave the traditional route? Remember, we only have 3 options, right?
Yes.
I'm Middle Eastern, you're Pakistani, and it's like we really same thing. We only have 3 options:
Yes.
doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time someone hears this story, their jaws draw all open, and I'm like, if you're willing to take the leap of faith and go for your passion, then you really have to devote yourself 1,000% into that, because there's going to be a time where you're going to be like, shit, this is not working out. I should have gone my original route of engineer, doctor, or lawyer, or whatever. And then there's going to be time where the fruits will come out, and you will be successful. It happens. I feel like, I mean, based on my own experience, everybody has their own experiences, but for me, I would say you put enough blood and sweat into something, it will grow. But there are going to be times where you're going to be like, F it, I'm done. I want to jump ship. It's going to happen, without a doubt. There's no such thing as perfection.
I would ask you a question, but it would be a dumb question, so I'm not going to ask it. And that would have been like, hey, if you weren't a doctor, what would you choose?
A painter.
A painter. So, all right. If someone's listening to this podcast and they've made it this far, right, and they're like, hey, okay, I want to be a photographer, but I don't know the first steps and I don't know how to find my first client.
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
YouTube.
YouTube?
Straight.
YouTube.
I didn't take any classes, dude. I don't have any degree. I don't have any professional certification.
Okay.
Nothing. This is 100% passion, man.
How would you tell them to go find their first client?
You won't be able to find your, unless you're doing it for free. That's the only way that you'd be able to grab a client initially. Because I took a route. I literally worked my first month working with another company was for free. Okay. Yeah. So initially, you're not going to make any money. I'll be honest with you. It's a matter of you putting yourself out there in an uncomfortable spot and learning lighting, learn posing, learn your camera settings, everything. You have to learn all that before you can even start to approach anyone that's willing to put money down for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of just want to backtrack a little bit. Yeah. When you're going through this motion of starting your business and building your business,
yes.
How much debt did you get into?
I moved from Ohio to California with $5,000. Okay.
Fam, that's nothing.
That's nothing. And then I started a credit card, and I had a $10K limit on it. Okay. So it was like you spend so much money on the credit card, but you only pay that little minimum balance, so it's kept bracking up. So I would say, and then I rented my equipment actually initially. Okay. So that's one route that it would be smart for someone that's really trying to get serious in this, is renting the equipment and then going from there.
So you racked up some debt?
Yeah, definitely.
When was the first time you felt like, oh, I'm getting out of debt?
Oh. After my first year.
After your first year?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like I said, dude, I feel like he has a big part in my life. I don't know, either that or the stars aligned and I just lucked out. You know, I don't know. I mean, for those people that are not really into faith, you know, but I don't know, because I hear so many other stories too, man, of people trying to start their companies and their videography companies and they just don't make it. Yeah. After a few months, you know, they burn out. But so I don't know, man. There's no formula to it.
It's kind of what I'm finding out with most people that I interview.
There's no exact formula. Yeah, there's just good intentions, dedication, and just know your craft and fall in love with whatever you're wanting to start. Just be in love with it.
That's good advice. From your company now, how do you see it evolving from here? and like what is your future goals for your company now?
Well, I feel like we've got a good hold of the wedding photography, videography market. But I'm comfortable with it so far.
Okay.
But now we're trying to get into corporate, commercial. Haven't dipped my toes into it yet, but that's my goal. And then for fun, I want to do short films and documentaries.
Documentaries.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I feel like that would be fun.
Okay. So now you're in a phase where you're going to start scaling. That's what
Yes.
you're kind of running into.
Definitely.
Would you say that like you're scaling significantly now, or like you're just entering this world?
I think I'm entering. I don't want to scale too fast.
Okay.
Where I feel like things are getting out of hand. Greed is another thing that I don't want to deal with. So obviously you can never have too much money.
Yeah.
But if I take it baby steps, I feel like that's the most healthiest way to grow your company.
How do you not fall into greed when you start making a lot of money?
At the end of the day, you're making every decision on your own. No one's there to tell you what to do. So that's a little scary to me.
Okay.
You know?
So that's what kind of grounded you?
Exactly.
Because I can imagine like, having a month and making, for example, 50 grand.
Yeah.
Right? And the next month, 30 grand.
Yeah.
And then 40 grand.
Yeah.
And then you're just like.
Yeah, for a person that hasn't seen that much money. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it starts rolling in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have some naughty thoughts.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I went from like, for example, not anywhere near kind of what you were doing, but like I went from working at Macy's to working a sales job.
Okay.
And the pay was like 6 times what I was making. And so the first weekend,
Yeah, you have the temptation, man.
I'm like, guys, the night is on me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you get lost in it and you're just like, oh, what did I do?
That's a write-off, bro.
A business meeting.
Yeah.
This is not advice. Do not take
No,
whatever advice we
absolutely
say,
not.
okay? So you're saying because you're making your own decisions, that kind of kept you grounded from not like falling in the pit and saying like, hey, I can
always remember where you started.
Okay.
And that kind of also what keeps me grounded. Because, one day you have everything, the next day something could happen.
Yeah.
And it's all gone, or whatever. Anything's possible.
Now that you mentioned this, I actually do have a couple more questions for you in light of this.
Yes.
So you're doing well. We didn't even touch on how COVID hit.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So it was March, right?
Yeah.
February, March is when we started hearing about this virus that's, taking the country and whatnot. So I kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, weddings are still going to happen. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. I literally was saying this to my wife. I'm like, it's fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. And then I get one email saying, yeah, we're deciding to postpone our wedding to happen later. I'm like, okay, postpones are fine. No, at least it's not a cancellation. And then another one comes in, and then the third, and then the fourth. And then some people are like, oh, we're deciding to have only like 20 guests. From 250 guests to 20 guests. What? Can you do something for us? That kind of stuff. So then I had to come up with a package, the intimate wedding package, that has limited hours of coverage. You have to mold yourself accordingly. And luckily, going back to the whole idea of managing your finances and having a little bit in savings to go through these little kind of slow points. So that plus kind of reshaping my packages kind of is what helped. There was a month or two where there was nothing. It was like pin drop silence, and because weddings were not allowed to happen unless you were having it in your backyard. That was the only thing that was allowed. But other than that, yeah, it did get a little scary. But dude, I kept optimistic. I was like, it'll pass. It'll pass. Things will get better. So
it's a beautiful thing to say. It will pass. I think a lot of people kind of don't remember that.
Yeah, a lot of people jump ship way too quick, man.
Yeah. Of course, there's times where you should jump, right? But like a lot of the times, like in your business, as long as you're like recalibrating,
yes,
it's like it'll pass.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't remember that.
Exactly.
And I think that's a beautiful thing to say.
Yeah. I mean, what good would panic do anyways, right?
Yeah.
It'll just distort your thoughts, and your focus will run thin.
I'm sure you had sleepless nights, though.
Oh, it was a little stressful. It was stressful, yeah. But as kind of the guy that's running the household finances and all that, like I said, there's no time for that. So you just kind of think different paths, different things that you can do to make ends meet. So, yeah.
The other question I have for you is I noticed that you took a break from like posting stuff for a while.
Oh, yes. That doesn't mean I stopped shooting.
Okay.
That just means I have F ton of backlog.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Because I was like, where are you?
Yes. So I did not want to post because I feel like I didn't want to show myself as, I don't know, because I felt like I was so behind on my editing. I didn't want to show clients other people's weddings that are happening, and like they would think that, oh, I'm more focused on those clients, and why isn't my wedding video being done?
Yeah.
So I felt kind of guilty. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go rogue. I'm gonna go quiet and not post until I catch up on my editing and get through it. So that's why I was quiet and I did not post.
Because I see that now you're posting.
I'm posting, yes.
But I was like, man, it's been a minute since I've seen anything.
Exactly. And it's not only you. A lot of different brides message me, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Everything, you haven't posted.
Isn't that beautiful though? That like you have
I love
people that are like, hey man, where are you? Because
totally
like,
checking in.
Yeah, they're checking in and they enjoy seeing you succeed.
Yeah,
right. They're
exactly.
like, this is my photographer.
Yeah,
this is
just like you. Other people reach out to, oh, so I'm so thankful that you're posting again, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that feels good.
Yeah. All right. So to close out, I have two famous questions that I ask everyone in every podcast.
Okay.
If I told you to close your shop today,
Yeah.
come work for me, I'll pay you $1 million a year, would you do it? Exclusively shoot for me. I need you to close Real Initiative.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Because when you start your own brand from the ground up, it becomes your little baby.
Yeah.
You see it grow over the years, but $1 million is a lot, though.
That's what I'm saying. So would you do it?
Dude. But let me try to scale my business so I can get to that point.
No, you have to close it.
Oh, dude, no. That's like betrayal, bro. No, I can't do that, man. I can't.
You guys see?
Dude, no.
It seems like I love this question.
Oh, man.
No matter except
the feeling of working for yourself is next level, man, versus working under someone else. It's super rewarding.
It's also scary.
It is super scary. But you start to get addicted to that thrill, believe it or not.
Interesting.
It's weird. Yeah, there's a thrill to seeking that fruit. That no one's there to hand it to you. Oh, here you go. Here's your weekly or bi-weekly pay.
Yeah.
No, you have to go run for it. You have to chase it. So there's a thrill to it. It's very weird.
It's funny because like the few people that I interviewed and people that are in business that I'll interview in the future, when I sit down with them and I ask them that question, except one, right, where he kind of tiptoed because he's a lawyer around it. And he was just like, well, if you pay me enough, and if it was like for, a superstar, like an NBA star, then maybe. And he's not going to do it, right? But it's like, it seems like no matter what, they would choose their company.
They wouldn't let go.
They want to let go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So because you've seen it from the ground up.
Yeah.
And to just wash your hands of it just like that. No, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would be able to sleep at night. Yeah. And then working under someone else is another thing. I got that feeling of it back when I started with the other company, and then starting on my own. It's a different world, man. You run you run your own hours. You gauge your own pay. It's just everything's under your own control. You can have no money, or you can have all the money. It's up to you and how much you put yourself out there.
Interesting. And the last question I ask the people that I interview, it's easier when they have kids, but when they don't, like I try to flip it up a different way. But if you pass today, what lessons do you hope to instill in your kids?
Be patient. Push yourself in whatever you do. Push yourself hard. And I don't know, man. I've always lived by it. The first time I heard patience is a virtue, I've lived by that. Like, today is a bad day, but there's always tomorrow. And tomorrow may not be fruitful, but next week maybe fruitful.
Do you know how hard that is being Middle Eastern
It's so,
and like saying that word?
Yeah.
Like patience? Patience does not run in our blood.
man, my wife, it's funny you say that. My wife is like, I hate you so much. Why do you have so much patience? Yeah. She gets annoyed at the level of patience that I have.
And then when you have kids, you actually, I can only speak for myself, but I'm more impatient. I'm
okay.
I'm patient with my kid, but like everyone else,
There
I'm
is a
just
blow
like,
off top, though.
there's what?
There is a blow off top.
Okay.
Like, there's a point where, okay, you're giving your patience, and then eventually you lose it. I'm only human, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so you would pass on patience.
Yeah.
You didn't say faith.
Oh, I didn't. That is true.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I would add that too.
Okay.
Have faith and be patient. Yeah, I like that. Have faith and be patient and give it your 100%, 200%.
200%.
Yeah. 3 things.
3 things.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
All right.
I'm good with that.
Well, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you for bringing me on, man.
Yeah, man. It's been...
Dude, full circle.
It's it really is a full circle. I mean, like, I know when people hear your story, it's going to go crazy because it's like we're so much on this track of, you know, one of the 3 things, like lawyer, doctor, engineer, that we don't give enough time or patience to the passions that we have.
Yeah.
And they think our passion are our hobbies and they're frivolous. Like, it's just not, there's nothing going to come from it.
Exactly.
And so one of the things that I talk with my wife about is like, whatever my kid's passionate about, I kind of want to press on that more.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so it's nice to see someone who's made it, and that way they can just give advice, because I'm sure there's tons of kids that are like, hey, my dad and my mom told me to go this route.
Yeah.
Right?
But I really want to do this.
Yeah. So it's tough.
Yep.
And so,
we definitely have to change that narrative, man.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, because there's always becoming an influencer.
You know, maybe one day. We'll see how that works out for me. But
we'll be that next generation of parents.
Yeah.
You know, to change that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, bro.
If you'd like to, you know, give a shout out to your business and where they can find you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Follow us on Instagram, Real Initiative. That's REEL, Real Initiative.
We on the outro.